What is the creepiest unexplained thing you have ever come across on the internet? As a teenager looking for porn, I stumbled across a website which looked like one of those live cam sites, but then I noticed most of the people weren't engaging with the audience, and they were all kinds of people. Old people, kids, people of all different ages, ethnicities, and whatnot. I clicked on a random live stream of some oblivious teenager doing her homework, and the people in the comments were saying stuff that made me realize she didn't know she was being live streamed, nor did anyone else on the site. It seemed to be some weird website of hacked webcams or security cameras, where the people had no idea about it. It was creepy as duck, and I've never kept my webcam pointed at me when not a nuisance. I always thought my mum was paranoid by putting band-aids over our computer's camera when I was younger, but honestly I just don't feel safe without it anymore. I rang my mum on WhatsApp to do a video call. When she answered, it was a man with his shirt off, middle-aged, 50s, with glasses on, sitting on a couch. It sort of looked like a hotel room. He had a foreign accent and said, "Yes. Hello. Who is this?" I hung up immediately and rang my mum again, and she picked up, and she was on camera walking around near a pond. It was absolutely bizarre and has never happened again. Update: these theories about my mum having an affair or teleporting from this bloke's room to the pond are both salacious and hilarious. Keep them coming. The more outrageous the better. Someone somehow guessed my name correctly in a 4chan thread. I didn't even give any clue to who I was. Still don't know who or how they did it. Hi Jacob. So we meet again. So I decided to just type in something like mmmmmmmmmmmmm.com or something like it. Coca-Cola used to, or still does, own a URL like that. But just the same letter maybe 13 to 15 times. It came to a choppy video of movie called South 32. It was cryptic and edited to just say South 32 over and over again for 4 hours. So I tried a different letter. Same thing. And another letter. Same thing. The same website popped up for maybe 20 different URLs in that type of sequence. I tried submitting it to the Internet Mysteries subreddit, but it didn't gain any traction, and I don't believe it works anymore. This must have been 4 years ago now. I was 12, alone in my room, casually browsing YouTube on my old laptop, when suddenly a jump scare opens on a completely different tab on Chrome. I still remember my webcam's light blinking. I was so terrified that I wasn't able to use my laptop alone for a good 6 to 7 months lol. Oh, you definitely got hacked by some dumbus there. Camera to catch reaction probs. He scrapped a montage and posted it in a sketchy site for hackers and those tech rebels. A lady on Gay Online got mad at me in Chatterbox. So she went on my profile and spammed it with gifs of someone beating a dog to death with a shovel. I remember seeing the first one and crying a lot because at the time I was like 11 or 12. She sent like 10 before I got her blocked and later banned. I had to manually delete each comment from my public profile. Each gif was from a different point in the same video. It was really sad, and I didn't go back onto my PC for a long time. Was casually surfing when I stumbled upon a video of a guy doing shotgun loading tutorials or something. The video was cut half, and he was speaking another language, and the gun accidentally went off, and he blew his head clean off. I don't remember the website name or anything. I was just surfing funny videos to pass the time when I saw this. The amount of blood that went flying everywhere was horrible. I was just 11 when I saw this, so it practically scarred me bad. It still chills me when I think about it. This reminds me of a video I watched 2 to 3 years ago of some people live on IG, and they were worried about one of the people they were live streaming with. If I remember correctly, he had a mask on and a big gun. Can't remember what it was. They kept saying don't do it, or he's not going to do it, and eventually he blew his brains out. I remember just seeing brain matter all over his walls that he covered in tarp. Everyone in the live stream was shocked or crying. After a while you see his mom come home and casually walk into his room and you hear her screaming his name in just pure agony. What made me the angry were people on the site I saw it on commenting about how he did it to be edgy. I still vividly remember that video, unfortunately. My girlfriend at the time texted me a link to a local news article involving a trial taking place that day. At the top of the article was a picture of my girlfriend sitting in the courtroom. I expressed surprise, since she hadn't mentioned going to court. She definitely would have told me, and then in anticipation of it, asked me a bunch of questions, as I'm in the legal field. She responded, "That's not me." We never did find out who it was. Edit, the woman who looked like my girlfriend was not the only person in the photo. She was not even the primary subject of the photo. She was sitting in the gallery with a number of other people. It could be a doppelganger. Most people have around 7, I think. IDK though, I read that somewhere, so take that as a grain of salt. Did she by any chance have the same clothing? I think that would be creepier. A guy ducking a sea bass. No joke. Wow, didn't know watching a fish get violated would score me all this karma and awards. Thanks. Up late one night scrolling through Reddit. Came across a post where someone confessed to killing a classmate of theirs, totally casually. Actually ended having a conversation with this person. They were 100% dead serious about the situation, but feel they weren't at fault for the death of the person. Pretty creepy. Not sure if it was actually true, but if not, they did a pretty good job at making it seem legit. I found the link to the post if anyone is interested. Edit, included link. Naive me got into kids chat, randomly got messaged by a guy asking if I want free toys. Childish me accepted, then guy led me to a 4GB folder full of random dog photos. Scrolling down a bit further, there's a few zip files. Some photos were oversaturated than the rest, others I can't even make out. Shit reminds me of some old creepypasta and no doubt. Lol, you fell for the puppy in the Vantric, and it wasn't even real puppies, just pictures. Your Amazon account was probably made public in a 2-paragraph comment about how to properly seduce a female dolphin. I changed the email address attached to my Amazon account. A year later I forgot and tried to sign into my account with old email address. The same password worked, but it was someone else's account, name, and address was different, and the guy hadn't bought anything. Why did he use my old email? It was unique to me and didn't match his name, and how did the password end up the same as mine? Your Amazon account was probably made public in a data dump. Reddit user Fat and Depressed had an app that took photos of everyone that came to his house. He got loads in a row, often way after midnight, but no one in the photos. Then suddenly in one of the photos, he saw this ducking thing. That's great, I didn't need sleep anyway. Can you link the image? I can't open it. I didn't come across it, but once when I was around 15 someone hacked into my computer. This is 100% true, and I tell it as a cautionary tale often. I had a FTP file server at the time, because I was in a long distance relationship and we would send stuff to each other via the file server. One day I noticed someone had downloaded all of my photos from the server. I called my boyfriend and asked him why he was downloading stuff he already had. He swore it wasn't him. I ignored it until several days later a screen opened on my desktop that was a window for my webcam and was on with me on the screen, and a chat window opened. The person told me that if I didn't take all my clothes off they would use my mom and dad's credit cards to buy all sorts of things. Luckily my parents were super cautious of using their credit cards on the internet. This was like 2002, so I knew he didn't have their card hash as he had used the FTP server to upload this chat/video program, and who knows how long they had been watching me. I freaked out. I unplugged my computer and unplugged it from the internet and didn't turn it back on until I was prepared with fancy firewalls and security for the FTP server. I tried calling to police and my internet provider but no one could help me. And that's how I learned hundreds of IP addresses and what they were. I watched my firewall like a hawk. I never heard from the hacker again, but it sure scared the shit out of me. Now I cover my webcams. I read Carl Odom's manifesto on here. Basically he was this mentally ill ex-marine who was convinced he was being telepathically manipulated by aliens. He believed their main idiot was in this church, and he had to kill the leader to make it stop. He ended up firing an entire clip of hollow point bullets into the back of the preacher of that church. The preacher made a full recovery, which was deemed a miracle, and Carl Odom was arrested throwing his manifesto across the White House fence. This is all a true story if you look him up. I really like the constant reiteration in his manifesto that he is, in fact, 100% sane, 0% crazy. So, I was looking for porn, a bit of weird hentais, ended up on one of those fake bait sites, where you click one thing, and like 3 other tabs open. For the hell of it, I decided to see how far the thing went, and I start digging. Each time I clicked on one PF the tabs, 3 new ones would open to similar sites, generic porn video hosting sites, then after a while was 2 tabs. To my dismay, after 30 minutes digging I landed on a child pornography site. I'll never forget the solid 30 seconds where my eyes landed on a pic that I won't describe because I DW ever to make an effort to remember, and I just froze in sheer shock on what I was seeing. I felt my stomach thrilling, so I started frenetically closing tabs in panic. Wish I had the thought to had saved the link to send to the authorities or something, but I just cowardly panicked. Edit. For the guy that deleted his comment asking for a description of what I saw. If you need any description more graphic than child pornography, you are just a sick individual. Peace, thanks for the award. That happened to me. Clicked down the rabbit hole and nightmares popped up. I forwarded every link to the FBI website and then went to watch kittens playing. Edit. For all of those asking, here is a link to the Department of Justice where you can report any instances of harm/abuse of children, including any CP you may come across or suspect. I modded Discord servers for a while. Users send you all sorts of shock stuff when you ban them, typically just stuff like gay porn that doesn't make me blink twice. One guy sent me a home video of someone being beheaded. Wasn't ready for that. I know exactly what you mean. One of my Discord servers got raided with shovel dog. One of the first times I've seen gore. Since then it's become a sadly regular event for modern growing servers. This is why, whenever I set up a server, the original text channel that everyone can always see becomes the rules channel without posting rights. Then there's a second channel only for untagged users. Anyone with any permissions at all gets blocked out of it. Then there's all the rest of the stuff on the server. It requires permissions to get to. So any rando that tries to raid can spam an empty channel with nobody there. I'm not sure if this has been explained, but I remember discovering a YouTube channel which went by the name of Robert Helpman. The channel has various videos of a border bag, seemingly with something inside of it, which is referred to as Daisy. I came across this when I was young, and it terrified me. Oh Jesus, duck, you reminded me now. Goddamn, that shit scared me. Still gives me goosebumps to this day when I hear that. That channel is only 5 years old. I feel very very old because I was thinking 2005 old, not 5 years ago old. Humanbeef.com. I tried to find it on the Wayback Machine, to no avail. It was super creepy though. Edit. Ostensibly a place to purchase meat, human meat. They had testimonials and photo/artistic renderings of processing employees wearing masks and of the final product. It's been over 20 years, 1998-ish, since I saw it, so my memory is a little faded, but I'm pretty sure the URL was humanbeef.com. I remember the color scheme being white and turquoise. Anybody else remember it? Edit 2. I guess it was manbeef.com, not humanbeef.com. That said, according to a hoax expose website, it's now, quite unsurprisingly, porn. I didn't verify, but you've been warned. One time I was listening to my music playlist on Spotify and the song stopped and I heard a statusy woman voice go, "If anyone can hear this please respond. We don't have much time." There, and it cut off and my music started playing again. I don't have ads and it wasn't in between songs, it was in the middle of Bohemian Rhapsody when I was playing Rocket League. Not the creepiest, but definitely up there. There is a YouTuber that liked exploring abandoned mines, caves and wells on his own, and would always record it with GoPro and other cameras. There is an abandoned mine he went down, and when he was really deep he started hearing frantic whispering that sounded like multiple people behind him. If you've ever watched a Goose supernatural horror movie you'd know exactly the type of whispering, and it was very clearly heard on the video. However, when he shined his helmet light behind him, the whispering stopped, and he noped out of there. That man has balls made from adamantium. He never screamed or panicked, just made his way out calmly, but you could tell he was scared as all get out. I remember this channel. Unfortunately the supernatural videos he made were debunked as fakes. Edit. The guy literally edited in royalty-free spooky whispers. Here is the full debunking. When I was a kid, I had some cereal that had website to visit to enter to win some prize or something. I don't remember the specifics. Anyway, when I entered that site into my computer, it didn't take me to some kid-friendly site or anything. It took me to a blank white page with just the text, "We have been watching you." Damn it, when will I learn my damn lesson and stop browsing these ducking threads? A few days after we got an Alexa, my wife and I were playing around by asking it random questions to see what she'd say. We asked her to tell us a story. Without missing a beat she said, "There is a disfigured child in the basement calling for help." Do you have a basement? Nope, not that we know of at least. This isn't the internet, but more on a call. I was on a call with my girlfriend, who was in Germany at that time, early 2019, when suddenly she seemed to be repeating what she was saying from a while back. I got confused and was trying to ask her why she was repeating herself before I realized that her voice was being looped back. I didn't realize the loop point or how far back it was, but she was clearly saying the same lines as she did before. When I hung up and called her back, she asked me why I hung up on her and didn't call me back. Then during the second call, it happened again after 3 minutes. I've never been able to explain why this happened and has never occurred again before or since. Definitely gave me the creeps and more than a few thoughts that I was living in a simulation. This happened last month. I was watching random stuff on YouTube when suddenly I started listening to guys talking with a calm music in the background. One of the guys had a strong Russian accent. They seemed to be playing something. Either it was Summit video I opened, but it wasn't. I started to close everything until everything was closed. There was only Steam opened, but I wasn't in any voice chat or anything, and no media was playing, like stream or anything like that. It seemed to be some private call I got in. So I closed Steam and the two guys talking stopped. So I guess somehow I got into a random Steam private voice call. This kind of reminds me of my professor talking about some random person joining his staff Zoom meeting and screaming about Jesus. It freaked everyone out. I was browsing NSFW at work on 4chan and found a pic of what looked like a woman vacuum sealed in plastic. Image stays with me to this day. Ducked up man. Apparently it's a fetish. The videos are worse. I saw some videos of a woman who was vacuum sealed by two guys. Can't remember the site. Chaotic, crazy shit or something. And they didn't cut her out of it until she'd almost suffocated. Like until she had no strength left and couldn't move, and they still waited a few seconds before cutting her out while the cameraman was screaming at them to cut her out. That was really rough. I saw that on Reddit not too long ago. I don't know on what sub, but there's a guy with that fetish posting stuff like that with his wife. It was horrible. She passed out, and it seemed like she was dead, but then he released her, and she became conscious again after 30 seconds or so. Don't wanna see that again. Years ago in a similar post on Reddit, someone shared a website of this mentally ill, homeless woman, formerly an engineer or dev, who lived in a tent in the woods that she had hidden. She had access to electricity and the internet. She had her own website and I believe even posted on Reddit. On her website she'd write about her sex life and all the crazy shit she'd done. I think the worst was when she willingly became the sex slave of some man. At some point he tied her up in his basement and that man would invite his friends to come over to rape her. Eventually word gets around town and all sorts of men show up, even some teenage boys. One thing I distinctly remember is she hated having her partners speak during sex. She posted a satellite photo of where her tent was and said if anyone could find her tent, they were welcome to come inside and duck her, but they couldn't say anything to her while they did it. Crazy stuff. Anyone remember this? That sounds like someone trying to incite strangers to rape a woman in the woods by providing her location and a story that it is her kink. Agreed. Like someone making a Craigslist rape invite post on another person. That time I fell on a file hosting website with different videos claiming to be hidden cameras in various spots. It included stuff like Disneyland bathrooms and other stuff like this. I never downloaded a file to check if it was true verism, but I directly reported it to the authorities, because if it's true stuff then it's really ducked. This will probably get buried, but it goes back a ways in the days of the internet. Back in late 90s I was young and was cruising around the net looking for spank material. As a kid you would always hear ads about live sex over the phone. You would call a number and then talk to a girl for money. The ads were on late night TV and such. I was on some old porn link sites that would not have images, but loads of links, 28k/56k, connection days. Images took a bit to download, so porn links just had words and links, etc. I remember seeing links for phone sex calls. My brain said, oh shit, I can listen, and finally figure out what that was like. Probably pretty good spank material, right? Well, I clicked a link or two, and after a few minutes the audio file was downloaded. On the recording was a girl with a sultry voice and some guy. I was thinking, oh man, this is gonna be good. She was all slutty sounding and moaning. Except after a minute of, so the conversation turned towards poop. Literal poop. They were talking about taking big shits, and how could so much poop fit through you butthole, etc. There I was, like 13 with my duck in my hand thinking, what the duck am I listening to? Instant boner killer. They went on and on talking about touching poop, molding it, touching it, plopping sounds when it splashed in a toilet, what it would taste like. It's one of those things that I will never understand, and it left me so confused about life for a bit. Paying money to call a sex line to visit your scat fetish. Big yikes. Edit, yeah, I've never owned a duck. Edit 2, on this site for 6 years and somehow this post is my most important contribution to the community. Never change Reddit. This happened when I used to play Minecraft a lot back in like 2013 to 2014. I was with a friend on Skype and was trying to find other people to join to play a game in the lobby, and I asked this one guy if he wanted to join. He gives me his Skype and my friend and I add him. Then he starts inviting us to a video call and only one of us could join. My friend joined and started screen sharing, and this guy, who was probably like 12 or 13, was laying on his bed naked and had tied his legs and an arm to the bedposts and started jacking off. After that, I stopped inviting random people to Skype. I was just scrolling through Facebook and came upon a video of a dog sleeping outside. It looked like the security camera of someone's front door. Few pairs of shoes beside the door. Doormat in front of the door. Set of stairs leading up to the door, then another leading up to the next level. A few seconds later, a leopard comes up the stairs and stops dead in its tracks when it sees the dog. I think, where the FK do leopards roam? Leopards are something I could only see in a zoo, so I was intrigued. And I was honestly expecting the door to open and some dude shit his pants be see a freaking leopard is right outside his door. I'm waiting for the funny thing to happen. It doesn't. The video was just the leopard inching closer and closer to the dog, hunting. It makes me cry just thinking about the ending of the video. It was awful. Duck whoever posted that video, it will haunt me forever. Edit, it's a leopard, not a cheetah. Tire editors for all the info. And thanks for the update about the dog surviving. And tie for the award kind stranger.